Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first annual Learning and Skills Lecture. Ofsted have decided to have a lecture each year in each of our remits, really to try and contribute to the discussion of the development of the sectors in which we're involved. So I'm really pleased to see you all here today.
As you know, much of Ofsted's reporting is of the moment. The final set of grades at the end of an individual provider's inspection, the key findings from a set of survey visits, a response to a consultation on a proposed new government initiative. This event provides an opportunity to do something slightly different, to take a longer-term view of the work of the further education and skills sector. The sector, more than ever, must be a high-performing powerhouse of our education service if we're going to give our learners the necessary skills and qualifications to support them in this recession and help them find employment in an increasingly competitive global environment. It gives me great pleasure to invite Matthew to deliver his lecture.
And thank you everybody for coming today. I've entitled this lecture Promoting Social Mobility and Securing Economic Growth, how the further education and skills sector can help bridge the gap and lead the way. Promoting social mobility and securing economic growth lie at the heart of all aspects of today's further education and skills sector. Social mobility has become a growing concern as more evidence emerges about the widening gaps in opportunity between the poorest and the richest in society in recent years. The latest report from the McKinsey Global Institute, The World at Work, found that in advanced economies, demand for high-skilled labour is now growing faster than supply, while demand for low-skilled labour remains weak. Improving access to learning and raising the quality of provision are essential if all young people and adults, regardless of their circumstances, are to be given the best chance of succeeding in a competitive labour market. This is a sector which has shown itself to be remarkably successful in responding to government initiatives and changing policy priorities over the last decade. But there are some recurrent problems in the performance of the sector where improvements haven't been rapid enough. The gap between the performance of disadvantaged young people and the cohort as a whole has not narrowed. Turning to the performance of adults, last year's Skills for Life survey commissioned by BIS had shown an increase in the levels of literacy at level 2, but little change in literacy skills at lower levels. The UK remains a middle-ranking country in terms of qualifications compared to other member states. Schools have a vital part to play to ensure vocational learning is afforded an appropriate status and in recognising different routes to success. It is essential that schools, post-16 providers and employers work constructively together on this important issue. The provision of careers education and guidance in schools will require close monitoring over the next year. Moving on to the delivery of vocational programmes for young people, I know that the Commission on Vocational Pedagogy that Frank is leading will be looking in detail at these characteristics. But our evidence shows that the best of these programmes give greater priority to recruiting learners on the basis of their interest and motivation, that they offer trial periods, work tasters or pre-entry training programmes, that they bring the world of work and learning together in a realistic and challenging way, and of course good support for English and maths is an essential strand in all of these programmes. The DfE announced further details last week about the proposed new programme of study for all 16 to 19-year-olds. This programme will require the study of English and maths for those who do not have a level 2 qualification in these subjects from September 2013. Functional skills and intermediate qualifications of good standing are potentially a more appropriate alternative for some learners. Purposeful work experience is a further aspect of vocational programmes that is crucial to get right. It can be the most positive force in equipping people with an appropriate work ethic and basic employment skills. And I am disappointed that the programme of study only encourages it rather than makes it a compulsory feature. Today we're publishing a survey report which looks in some detail about supporting adults into employment. The report assesses the efficiency of systems in matching unemployed adults to training provision. Overall, our review found that providers were geared towards delivering qualifications rather than focused on getting people into jobs. This is a difficult area to get right and one which calls for closer coordination of the work of the DWP and BIS. The shape, form and character of the sector have changed dramatically in the last 10 years and most significantly in the last 12 months. Providers in the sector have been given greater freedoms to determine their own strategic priorities and how government funding is deployed. They will need to clearly demonstrate how their provision of education and training meets local need. New measures of success will take account of the completion of the main qualification and the level of attainment and distance travelled. This is a significant moment of transition for the sector, where the burden of responsibility for determining priorities and getting it right has been most emphatically passed to the providers themselves. This work has to be enhanced by strong governance, where governors or members of supervisory boards are good at holding the team to account, asking the right questions, having access to the right information, and ensuring that local accountability is demonstrably evidenced. A smaller number of larger providers are emerging, but are they the right providers? Inspection will help us answer that question at an individual level, but I'm concerned that if our reference to quality only comes at the end of this consolidation, then it's too late. There are examples where the lead contractor is not a particularly strong performer, but their size and their contracting weight sealed the deal. The smaller provider now passes responsibility to the larger provider and in turn becomes a subcontractor. The key issue here is that quality has not always been treated as a critical factor in the decision-making process. Of the 34 newly approved UTCs, where the primary sponsor is an FE college, only 10 are outstanding or good. 6 colleges were judged satisfactory and 1 as inadequate at their last inspection. So finally, what changes will Ofsted be making? The new inspection framework that we're introducing in September raises expectations. A sharpened focus on teaching, learning and assessment will be essential to bring about the changes in the sector that I've been talking about. Inspectors will continue to place great importance on the rates of progress of groups and individual learners. They will also focus on the standards that are achieved, particularly in English and maths and functional skills, and they'll shine a spotlight on the destinations of learners. We will introduce earlier re-inspection for those judged as required improvement. From September 2012, providers will usually be given up to 2 working days' notice of their inspection. Seeing providers as they really are, our inspections will report without fear or favour on the progress providers are making in promoting social mobility and securing economic growth. There are some clear and real challenges facing the FE sector right now, and I am convinced that there is capacity to get this right. Thank you for listening.
Very much indeed, Matthew. That's very thought-provoking stuff. What we've done is asked 3 people to give an initial reaction from very different backgrounds and experiences, really.
To have an outstanding skills sector which contributes to the productivity of UK PLC, at the heart of that you need outstanding teaching, learning, training, and that's why the Commission set up. All of us condone the growth in apprenticeships. And what an apprenticeship means to me as the chair of the Commission, frankly, is a job. So when an apprenticeship works, it's because it is a job.
Thank you very much, Frank. So, Neil is Director of Employment and Skills at the CBI.
Education and skills matter more than almost anything else in the long-term trend rate growth of the United Kingdom. The growth strategy is about things that can put 0.25% on growth in 2013. This is about things that can put 10% on growth over 30 or 40 years. The FE sector and broader skills delivery is really important in giving people with the talent to succeed, not only the skills to succeed, but also the ambition.
And finally, moving to Ken Spores. Ken is a professor at the Institute of Education who specialises in post-14 sector, covering education, qualifications and a whole range of other issues, governance and so on. So over to you.
I would argue for the development of a strong curriculum and qualifications framework, or to put it bluntly, a vocational baccalaureate. And this baccalaureate would be available both full-time and for the work-based route. The core would comprise aspects of general education, including English and maths, but I would also include a very successful component called the Extended Project Qualification, EPQ, so that young people, no matter where they happen to be studying or experiencing education training, are able to develop their research skills.
Thank you very much indeed, all of you.